Shall I start? Hi friends, a very good evening to all of you. A very interesting session we have planned today for you. And this is a candid talk with AIR 44 CA Kunal Rathore. Yes, my student and very proud. Seriously, see, whenever result day comes now, actually students are very happy. We are even more happier. Your results make us proud. And you know, this profession of teaching, the one of the thing which keeps us going is your results. When you come out with flying colors, when you succeed, we feel we are also successful. So this is something which keeps us going. This is something which keeps on motivating us. So today we are here with Kunal. We'll be understanding his strategies, what he did the things. Yeah, he has definitely scored AIR. So Pakka, he would have done great things. He would have done the things which we all will expect that we all also will be following it. Now, before I just go to Kunal, I'll bring out a small slide with you all people. This slide is about celebrating your victories. You see, at Unacademy, we are celebrating your victories. So those students who had taken a subscription at Unacademy and they've got a rank all over India, if you've got a rank in 1 to 10 of India, we are giving you 10x your fees as refund. So this is a gesture from Unacademy if you've got a rank in top 10 of India. If you've got a rank between 11 to 50th, you'll be getting 3x your fees refund as a gesture from Unacademy. So in case any of you had taken a subscription plus or iconic and you had got an all India rank in this December 21 exam, may it be foundation, may it be final, yeah, inter results are pending. So you need to just fill in a Google form. Make sure you fill in that Google form and claim your rewards. Another thing, currently, just a minute. Currently, we are actually having offers which are going on for the students. So if you're using our code Yeshas Live, you'll be getting 20% discount on all your subscriptions. So all subscriptions available at 20% discount just for a limited time. Plus iconic doesn't matter, all the subscription. Also, we are coming out with the articles week. If you want to learn or understand anything about articleship, top educators are there for you taking a lecture on articleship 19th and 20th of February. So make sure you are there to understand everything about your articleship. Now let's go to Kunal. Hi Kunal, how are you?
Hi sir, I'm fine sir. Thank you. How are you?
Yep, I'm doing great. Heartiest congratulations Kunal to you as well as your family.
Thank you so much sir.
It's not just our efforts, our families, our friends, everybody has supported us and they also play a very vital role in our success. So
definitely,
just
sir.
tell me a brief about how did you get into CA? How did this all started?
So my journey has been extremely topsy-turvy, I would say. So I come from a science background and I was motivated towards IIT. I had taken PCMB in 11th and 12th. So I was not sure if I should be doing PCMB like medical or IIT. So I took PCMB so that I have both options open. I cleared my JEE mains, the first level in IIT exam. I cleared that, but unfortunately, I couldn't clear the second level. I lost by a small margin. And I was at that point, I was not willing to take a year back. That time, exams were just annually. Now it's become biannually. And coincidentally, even though not prepared, I was able to get a good medical seat within Bangalore itself. And everyone in my family, everyone were motivating me to go in that direction. But somewhere deep down, I knew that I was not meant for medical. So that is when I took a call to switch to commerce. And thanks to my dad, he told me to just register for CACPT. Let's see if you do it or not. So this was before the medical results also. So I filled the form and then all this happened. So luckily, I filled the forms in time and then the journey has been wonderful.
So initially, you're telling you're from science background and you joined CA. Now, whenever a student from science background joins CA, the first question comes up is how do we cope up with accounting and all that subjects which are totally related to commerce? So what problems you feel you had faced for accounting, advanced accounting or foundation may accounts, and how did you cope up with it?
So I joined I had done BCom also. I joined Jain College for that. The thing is they had a 1 month course to catch up for the science students. So since I came from a science background and results came late, by the time I joined, even that was done. So I didn't have any support, absolutely. So I totally counted only on my friends. So CPT I managed because it was MCQs at that time. I could manage with Sir's teaching at that time. Yeshas was extremely good. It helped me understand. So maths was good for me. I had a good base in that. And accounts, the faculty was really good. I got the basics. I could manage that time. But the real difficulty came when I came to IPCC when I had to write. So I remember the first chapter, which you had only taught, the first 2 days was higher purchase, and it went totally over my head. I couldn't understand what is happening, how what ledger is this that. So it was a tough time, but I knew that since I am 2 steps behind people, I have to put extra effort from the very beginning. So thoda at home, I used to try reading, understanding. So I had to put that extra effort from the beginning just to reach where people were already there, where my friends were like people. Everyone used to answer when you used to ask questions, and I'm like, what is the question? So that was a bit difficult for me. And yeah, so once you put in the efforts, you have to realize where you stand and you walk in the right direction. Then yeah, you can manage.
See, just imagine coming from a science background, getting a AIR. So it doesn't matter what was your past. What matters is how you're putting your efforts. And he just said that we just need to put in a bit extra effort. Yeah, small karte jao, large banta jayega. Yes or no?
Definitely, sir. These small lines, sir, when I took your classes back then also and here also, India's classes, all the classes, these one-liners genuinely have helped me a lot. Like you don't remember all of them, but when you're studying, at times these some lines just come back to your mind and then it pushes you a bit. So you realize they were extremely good, sir. Like I don't remember them now at the moment, but I remember there were phases where I was extremely low, and that will happen to everyone at some point where you feel that everything is falling on you. So that is where you take a call. Either you want to get crushed or you stand up and you lift the weight. So your motivation, my peers, all the faculty, like not just you, like every faculty has been extremely motivating. So yeah, that has been extremely good, sir. Thank you.
See, actually, I personally believe teaching is one thing. We definitely do. We try to give our best. But another thing is, I always try to pump up the student. I ensure that they deliver their best. And this is the reason in my lectures, you already know that every session at the end, I'll keep 1 or 2 minutes just to tell you some good sentences or some instances about mine or my friends, which can help you go on, pump up, and push yourself. Acha, now just tell me, everybody knows you got a rank in CA final now, AIR 44. That's great. What about your foundation and inter results?
In my CA CPT, I had scored a good score of 171. So, and I think in IPCC, I wasn't able to get a rank. The thing is, as I said, I come from a science background. Because of that, at that time, since I was a step behind, I was focusing only on Group 1. And coincidentally, because I had some preparation in Group 2, I was able to manage without set off also. So I got 493 in group in my intermediate. Yeah, that's been the thing.
Okay, and finals, when you were writing examination, whether
Yes.
all paper went up to your expectation?
Not at all, sir. And very honestly, like everyone should be a bit prepared, like not get scared, definitely, but you should just know that you are not alone. It is everyone. It is everyone. It has to be everyone, basically. I believe because there will be at least one paper to 100% hoga, which will be that paper will be like you feel like let me just get up and get out, like that bad. I believe like some papers will come, you will feel that you're thoroughly prepared, but it will come totally out of the box. So that is where you have to try to maintain your calm. Like for me, that was law paper, where so it was the last paper in Group 1. So first 3 were okay. So I thought ho jayega, just one to go, at least A group ho jayega that way. And law paper, I was more prepared than audit. And when I saw the question paper, the MCQs, this, that, so I was totally taken aback and I was like gone. But that is where I kept my pen down for a minute. I had a small prayer, and then you just keep calm. You just have to cool yourself down. This is not end of the world. And just have a mindset that I have 3 hours. Just write something for 3 hours. You have some knowledge. You've studied for last 5-6 months. So you will have some knowledge. Just put it down And don't ever think that this is only for you. If it's tough, it is tough for everyone. It will be tough for everyone. So corrections hopefully will be lenient accordingly. Just try to put your best is what I feel.
Okay, so see, friends, what I can understand is it is definitely going to happen that one or the other paper don't go up to your expectation. So all papers never go up to your expectation, and one or the other paper will be coming difficult. We are not satisfied with that paper. That is going to happen. But only thing what we need to do is we should not be quitting the examination. We need to ensure that we are writing all our papers. And the paper where we are feeling with difficulty, you can take a break of 1-2 minutes, but please make sure you sit in examination hall for full 3 hours. Don't get up from examination hall before the 3 hours are completed. Kunal, just tell me, how did you prepare for your CA final exams? Like how much time before you started your coaching? How much time before you finished your coaching?
So I started my articleship began in March 2019. I completed intermediate in November 18. March 19 I began my articleship. My tuitions began about 6-7 months later on. It was in November 19. I started. I had just I think 2 months of break. 1 month was because of the COVID lockdown, where classes switched from offline to online, because of which I lost a month, and 1 month due to my personal commitments. It was my sister's wedding, so because of that I lost a month. But other than that, I knew I have to be consistent. So I believe this exam requires just consistency. You try to do tuitions regularly. So on that basis, except for my paper 6, I was able to complete all tuitions by end of March. So and I took about 20 days only for paper 6. So then I started studying in the meantime. After post work in April, May, I started studying a bit.
Okay, can I say it's kind of by April end, you finished all your coaching for the exams were there in November, right?
Yes.
Due in November or postponed to December?
Yes.
November examination, you had finished all your coaching by 30th of April. That's actually 5 to 6 months before your examination.
That is a necessity, I feel, sir.
That's a necessity.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, now see, I tell you one thing. Due to this online lectures coming up, many students have started to postpone their preparation. I was many students who start studying, basically the coaching, they started in the last year only. Like first 2 years of articleship, they don't take up coaching. Last year of articleship, they start coaching. And then they rush to finish up all the syllabus. And last, you won't believe, but when I'm taking basically any batch going on, like say current batch is going on, there are few students who will be appearing in this May exam and still they're attending.
Okay.
Do you think that's the right thing to postpone your preparation, or you should study as early as possible, matlab coachings?
Definitely. You should definitely start early, not that early that immediately as you start your articleship that early. I had few friends who started immediately, but not that early. But within, I think, 6 to 8 months of joining your articleship, you should start, because you know how big the course is, and tuitions you do not know. Some might be 60 days, some might be 90 days. So you need to keep some buffer time. Something unforeseen comes, so you need to start accordingly. And as I remember, you had only told that you have to come what may, you have to complete tuitions before your exam leave. So that was the driving factor, and you have to plan accordingly. Okay, you have to talk to your peers which subject will take how long, and accordingly I would suggest 6 to 8 months after your articleship begins, you should ideally start.
Okay, so interesting fact. I would have said it many times in class, but as Kunal says it, 6 to 8 months of your articleship has gone, you should start your coaching, and before 5 to 6 months of your examination, your coaching should be completed. Yes.
Definitely.
5 to 6 months. Yeah, 5 to 6 months before your coaching should be completed, all subjects. So please don't take up your coaching slightly. Don't take up at the last moment. It's better to complete it on a timely basis. Acha, Kunal, the sequence of subject, which one you took first, which one you took later?
So I'd spoken to my peers. Everyone suggested, okay, first do those subjects in which you don't expect many amendments. So that is why I had taken, first was costing for me. Second was SFM. And second was SFM, and then because of the COVID lockdown, SFM went on a break, and that is when, since I didn't have any way to get a printout or something, so I taken audit classes, and then online itself, on the laptop itself, on the PDF I was highlighting. So just not to waste time, because I'd lost a month. Then because of the pandemic, I couldn't get any printout. So I took a call, okay, let me still do audit, because audit, you don't expect that many amendments. relative to law or DT perhaps. So I did that, and after which I completed law. Then I did accounts. Accounts. The reason I postponed it is because you were coming with a new Indies batch. So that was the first session you took for Indies. So only for that I was waiting. Otherwise, I think you can do accounts earlier than law or something. So try to complete the practical ones first, and then the last priority should be law and taxes, both.
Okay. So it's kind of first will be your FR, SFM costing. Second lot will be kind of law and audit. And third lot will be kind of DT, IDT, and your
taxes.
elective.
Yeah.
But we need to ensure that everything is completed 4 to 5 months before our examination minimum.
Yes.
Okay. I just remind you, Kunal has been our student since foundation and intermediate. He has done at Yeshas Academy. Finals also, he has done FR and audit with me. He has done costing with our Devan sir, and he has done SFM with Asim Jana sir. The entire faculties of Yeshash only, he has taken the coachings. Achha, just one thing, Kunal. One of your paper, you said law didn't go well. Were there any negative thoughts coming after the paper of law?
Yeah, this is one mistake I have made, which I don't want others to do. So subconsciously, after the exam, I know paper was very bad, and after the paper, I spent at least 40 minutes just seeing the paper again. And this was not just for law; it was for all papers. And I spent at least 40 minutes to 1 hour after the paper. So that is a mistake which I made, which everyone told me not to do, but I couldn't control it, which I don't want others to do. What is done is done. It's done and dusted. Just try to put your best for the next paper. So looking back, I wasted 1 hour, like 1.5 days before the exam. So which is a lot, I feel, which I shouldn't have done. And everyone who is watching, please understand that it's not just you. One paper will go bad. Just forget it. It's done. You cannot change it. Just try to do best for the next one. Yeah.
Yes. The gone is gone. We cannot change it. Let's focus on remaining papers rather than worrying about the paper which went back. Achha, Kunal, what about your articleship? How did you do your articleship? Which place you did your articleship?
I'm at KPMG, about to complete my articleship next month. Yeah, so managing, working in a Big Four again has its own stringent deadlines and stuff. So you have to manage your priorities. The first 1 year, I struggled. I worked. I focused fully on work and not that much on tuitions. Because then first month tuition start a bit late. So tuition start a bit late. So you can manage off. So first year, I focused on work more. But later on, coming into the second year, I knew over time what matters more is this exam, which is utmost a priority. So accordingly, I took a call. I spoke to my team. I told that I will put in my desired set of hours, which was like 10 to 7 I'll work. After that, I have to do my tuitions, come what may. So there were just very few incidences where I had to switch over and focus more on work. But other than that, I think my team has been supportive. They understood that I had some commitments, and everyone should have that. Like if possible, you'll have to work, but you'll have to also decide which commitments are how important for you.
Okay, I can understand. It's like you have to be professional at your workplace as well. Like
yes, definitely.
10 to 7, you be at 10 to 7. Be on time. Be on time. It should not be like daily you're sitting late. That doesn't make sense. Okay, the one thing, please remember, articleship is important, but studied is equally important. Make sure you give justice to both. Articleship may reach on time, leave on time. Not to sit late on a daily basis. That will not work for you. Okay. Acha, just tell me, did you expect an All India rank?
So to be very honest, like no one believes me. I know no one will actually believe me. Just a minute or two before checking my results, I prayed to God to get me 190 in group 1, 210 in group 2, set off ho jayega. So that is where I was. So I didn't check my results also for first 45-50 minutes. I didn't check my results because I was shivering. I was like, it's not even possible to pass this exam. Very honestly speaking, and it's the same for everyone. So did not expect this at all. I checked my marks. I saw pass. I closed it off. Then after about 30-40 minutes, I was like, let's just check the merit list. So that after about 40 minutes, at around 3 or something, I got to know that I got a rank, and I was totally taken aback. So again, I had to make calls to everyone, entire family, relatives, ke rank bhi aaya hai.
Okay, awesome. Great, great, great. Ajay, just tell me one thing. How do you feel is the paper checking of ICI? People say ICI does very strict checking. Aapko laga?
Honestly speaking, seeing the previous attempt, I was totally shaken. Like I remember the July attempt, I had seen a lot of YouTube videos where people showed that audit and costing corrections were very strict. But this time I feel corrections have been way better. I personally feel like what I got in law and audit was way more than what I expected. So it is not as you think, and whatever be the correction, it's the same for everyone, and that is not in your hand. What I believe is you do your best, and then it's written in destiny.
Okay, so see, whatever correction may be, it's basically we need to deliver our best. And frankly, ICI checks bit leniently. If I also say my personal opinion is also what you expect to thoda zyada hi aata hai. But unless you are
Yeah.
expecting in a wrong manner, expectation is like something else only than what you've written, then that will not work. Acha, mujhe ye batao, how did you prepare your practical subjects and how did you prepare your theory subjects?
So my way of studying was very different. So people told okay, either do one or two subjects, but I just preferred following what I done for IPCC as well. I did a subject at a time. First, always try to do the practical ones because you'll have more retention for those. Then I focused on theory, which was the last subject I did was definitely audit, because everyone told me that audit will paka forget, and that happened also with me. And everyone just be prepared. Okay, audit you will forget, but you will not totally forget. So time will keep reducing, and don't get scared. So that happens for audit the most, I feel, where you feel that you don't remember anything, but yeah, over time you will remember. So always first, what I did was entire batch of practical subjects, and then I focused on theory because I knew that practical I can still manage, and theory my retention is slightly lower. So that's how I went about it.
Okay. Now, do you think that audit and law being a theory paper, it can be like student can prepare on their own, or should they also take up a coaching? Because many students take up this theory papers lightly. They don't take up a coaching, thinking that okay, inter mein tha. Yeah, inter. If you see audit standards were also there. Your company audit was also.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Was it the same level as inter? Yeah, is it the totally different level over here?
My personal opinion is, if possible, do all tuitions. Like you should. My personal opinion, do everything, even paper 6. I would suggest, like, if you have the time, please definitely do. If you don't have time, maybe only for paper 6 you can take a call, but otherwise you cannot do, like, you cannot do by yourself. I feel like that is my personal opinion. People, everyone around me, my friends, peers, they're like, ho jayega, just read this book, what is there to teach, this, that. But you need some guidance. You always need some guidance to pinpoint what is to be written in the exam. Like you used to make us highlight, no sir. So these are some things which you cannot do by yourself, or even if you do by yourself, it is going to take a lot of time. So, and you need some mentor, I feel. You cannot always be just able to read and understand. And IPCC and this is like, you cannot compare, sir.
Okay, the final is altogether a different ball game. Please make sure you don't take the theory subjects lightly. Like I personally advise to student, if you're revising practical subjects once, theory has to be revised twice. If you're revising practical subject 2 times, theory has to be revised thrice. The simple words, theory I say revise 1 time more compared to practical. What's your say on this?
Definitely, sir. You should analyze yourself. What is your strength? Generally, I feel people will be slightly poor in theory, and you have to put in the extra efforts for that. So you have to keep reading. Like while you were teaching itself, I used to read a bit, but I knew I couldn't remember. But at least you'll have a fair idea. So when you go for the study leaves, you have a fair idea what you're going for. And yeah, do put in enough time for audit. Like people, some people I've seen, they focus on audit in the last 1-2 months only. Okay, last May karenge. I don't believe in that, because if you just read once, I don't know how you will write the exam. I had to read it 3 full times, and even then I had forgotten quite a few things in exam hall. But yes, you have to put in that effort, and you have to take the buffer that you will forget some things in the exam hall. So you have to put in efforts accordingly.
Okay. I'm taking a question from Utkarsh. Utkarsh has a
Okay.
question like FR is bare text standard to be read? Like in FR, should I read the bare text of Indes? Or like the material which is given by faculty that will be okay, will be kind of spoon fed only. Like later on, suppose if I have not read the bare text of Indes, I've done only suppose some faculty's material. So is it like later on practically I might have some problem?
Sir, I feel you should always do your tuition. Your faculty will give you guidance what is important. You should have proper knowledge of what the index is about. So it's not
Hmm.
like you ignore the theory part. You always need to have a good grip on the theory also, because even as you had said, any question, be it practical, you have to write a couple of lines about the index, which is a necessity. Otherwise, you lose some marks which are meant for that. So you need to have, you cannot just focus on practical. Yes, in FR you have to focus a bit more on practical definitely, but never ignore the theory, because only if you know the concepts you'll be able to implement them. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, just one question. The FR material, which yeah, you have done mine only. So, do you think that the language was kind of the language which is there in standard? It was like a very simplified version.
It was perfect, sir. Like it was totally exactly on point. You can understand, and that is what is required. Like if you see any answer key of ICI, it is exactly what is required and on point, sir. So I would definitely recommend your book, sir.
Acha, do you recommend any summary notes to be basically prepared for audit or to be read for audit law? Yeah, anything? Did you prepare summaries?
Very honestly, I did not, but I would definitely recommend it. Everyone has their own way of studying, and me being on the slower side, I couldn't prepare summary notes. Audit mein, it's like I didn't know how to make a summary basically. Like there are so many different things. I'm like, do I skip this or this or this? So whatever you highlighted, I focused on studying everything. Like that is how I went. But yeah, if you can make summary notes, it'll be helpful only for you. But take a call what you want to skip and what not to skip. Like many a times we feel ke ye nahi aega, but that only comes. One thing I've realized, I had watched many ABC analysis, this that, but they were not very fruitful. Is my personal opinion that
Okay.
whatever you skip will only come in the exam. That has happened with me. Like what I skipped, that only came.
Okay, so that ABC analysis is actually the thing which did not work. And
Yeah.
so can we skip any chapters, or do you recommend skipping anything?
No, sir. So the ABC analysis, maybe you can just follow for the sequence of how to go about it. But
Correct.
definitely a mistake which I have done, a big mistake which I have done is in the ABC analysis, the CMA, maybe last one or two chapters, I might have done very leniently, not skipped. So I did it kind of leniently. And to my bad luck, those only came like in FR. I watched a YouTube video where they told that Index 101 is never asked till date. So you can skip that. And cash flow, they're like it came in the last attempt. So nahi aayega is baar. And both came. So Index 101 came as a compulsory question, I believe. And cash flow also came. So luckily in FR, I had studied that, so I could implement that. But many of my peers, everyone had skipped that because it had never come till date. But yeah, not just this, in costing also, budgets, everyone is like, it never comes. But it came. Like it, so everyone's like, it comes once in 3-4 attempts. So it came in last attempt, so nahi aayega. So in the C category, it was last. They're like, don't do it only. So I follow that, and to my bad luck, it came in the exam also. What I would definitely recommend, study from the first word to the last word. All subjects, do not skip anything, like anything at all. Because I say knows what to skip. That is only the last.
Okay. So don't skip any of the chapters. Yeah. At least make sure that all the important questions which are marked by the faculties or by you, that has to be covered up when you're revising during the last time. You might not study all questions, but whatever you marked is important, that much has to be covered, and don't skip the entire chapter at all. So there's a question which says, Sir, Kunal, how did you plan and execute both the groups? I think actually we discussed it, but briefly just bata do.
Plan and executing both the groups. So you have to take a call before and see this call. You have to work in that direction way before. If you want to do both the groups, you have to plan your tuitions accordingly. Only if you complete your tuitions, at least I feel 5-6 months before your exam leaves, only then you can take a call for both the groups. Because otherwise, if you're doing tuitions in the first 1-2 months, of your exam leave also, then it'll be very difficult to manage both. So I completed all beforehand, and then I started studying bit by bit after my work in end of April and May as well. So that is where I maybe had a head start by the time my exam leaves came. And after that, you have to just make a timetable for yourself. You can either write it down or you can have it in your mind. I had it in my mind and try to go in that direction. Like, you every day just put in your best, and you should go back to bed thinking that today I've done everything I could do, nothing more than what I could have done. So that on that basis, you will eventually be able to progress, and you will be able to cover everything, definitely.
Okay, so those students who want to give both the groups, please make sure you plan well in advance. You finish up your coaching at least 4 to 5 months before your examination. Last 5 months has to be only your self preparation, nothing else. Acha, Kunal, just tell me one thing. Did you wrote any mock test or something like that during this last 5-6 months of time?
I didn't write it, to be very honest, but I deeply regret that. To everyone who's watching, definitely do write it. Like, you need some written practice. So what I had done, I had practiced few questions here and there while studying itself in FR, SFM. I had written some questions, so I had some bit of practice. But the pressure in an exam hall is something totally different. So you need to be in that atmosphere, like just write 3 hours continuously. I had thoroughly practiced the RTPs. That is all I had done. But mock papers, I would definitely recommend at least twice would be amazing. But at least once, all papers, you have to definitely write, so that you have some, you can pick up a pen and write. Because in the exam hall, many times you'll just figure out how to write it. Like how to start. So that happens a lot. So you should have that mindset. You should know how the steps are flowing. So many times what happened with me for FR itself, the very first question, I messed it up. So I left the very first question, the 12 marks, financial instruments. I didn't know the very first step. The very first step, financial instruments, how do I start it? I knew the entire brief idea I had. I couldn't start the first thing. So that is a mistake I had done. So please, everyone, definitely do write at least one.
Okay. So see, Kunal had writing practice, but in a different way. He had written RTPs on his own. He has written other questions here and there on its own, but he did not write the mock test. But he's definitely recommending you all people, please write it. 1 is minimum for all subjects. 2 is advisable. This is what you should be doing. Ajay, Kunal, how many hours a day you are studying?
Very honestly, I was putting, see, everyone has their own different speed. I knew a couple of peers of mine who used to study only for 10 hours, and they used to cover what I was doing in probably 14-15 hours. So everyone has their own different speed. Do not try comparing. Very honestly, people should not start comparing. I'm putting 10 hours, you're putting 12, that way. But very honestly, from very beginning, I was putting around 12 hours a day.
Around 12 hours a day.
So 10 to 12 hours, the first month you can start, I think. 10 to 12 hours, 10 hours you can start first month. And then as time from second month, I think you should start putting, if you're focusing on both the groups, 12 hours you should start.
Okay. So 12 hours a day is what he has put in his last 4 to 5 months of his preparation. Achha, breaks, how did you plan? Like, you study at stretch, or like 2-3 hours you study, take a break of 1 hour?
So I had a fixed schedule, like wake up, you study for a couple of hours, then you'll have your breakfast ka break, about 30-45 minutes, you'll read the newspaper, you'll talk to your parents and chit chat. That an hour in the morning, then again study for 2-3 hours, like study for an hour, then you have a 15-minute snack break or something. So I had a fixed schedule. Then again eat, again study, then have your lunch break, again study, again take half an hour break. You want to watch a series, listen to music, just go for a stroll somewhere, whatever you want to do. But you have a fixed timetable and you follow it accordingly. Nothing like study throughout the day continuously. Take your breaks as you wish, as you feel comfortable.
Okay, but the discipline which was there, the timings which you had decided, you had strictly followed it in all the 5 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
The most important is the discipline during that last 4 to 5 months of your studies. That 4 to 5 months of your studies, 10 to 12 hours a day, you should be doing it with appropriate breaks, whichever you planned. If break is of 60 minutes, take 60 minutes break, but then it should not become 61 minutes, or it should not become like 90 minutes. Or 60 minutes, keep it 60 minutes. Don't kind of take a longer break. Just be disciplined. And that's why they say, now, success is nothing but small, small disciplines which are practiced every day. Make sure you practice your disciplines in a proper way. Achha, there's a question from Himadri. I'm planning to write in November 22. I finished with FR, started with SFM and Audit. Can I finish all coaching and start studying later in a day? 7 hours coaching, 5 hours studying. So means November 22, she's writing one paper already done coaching, other two are going on. I study half day basically I am doing my coaching.
It'll be a bit difficult. It's never impossible, but you have to start putting efforts now itself. I feel you still have 3-4 months before your exam leave begins. So you plan your work commitments accordingly. Try to do, like, if you're doing online classes, I would suggest, like, you can probably maybe do 1.5 tuition at least a day. 1.5 tuition you should be able to manage. If possible, try to do 2 tuitions because you're lagging behind a bit. So try to cover up as far as possible. And or at least in the first one of study leave, try to complete all tuitions by then. So then last 4 months, thoroughly you're doing only studies.
Okay. So Himadri, try to finish up all your coachings at least 4 months before examination, so that last 4 months is only for studies and no coachings are pending. Okay. Kunal, do you feel that the material which you refer has to be an exhaustive one, or a kind of chota material will do? Chota summaries?
No. Summaries are good only for, I think, revising, having a quick glance or something. But I say requires you to study in depth. You do not know what is going to be asked. And if you have summary knowledge, in the exam also, you'll just be able to write a summary, 2-3 lines, and you will score accordingly. So whatever material, whichever faculty you're following, I believe, follow that thoroughly. And don't try to shorten everything and just cut here and there, one line and study. I don't believe in that. Whichever faculty you're following, study thoroughly, because they have also put in their efforts and they've taken a call what is important, what is not important. So whatever, because anyways, a 2,000 page book is summarized and made to 700, 800 pages. So you cannot push it. You can, when you're first studying, you can still cut down here and there few things, but you cannot make it 100 pages, I feel.
Okay, so see, ICI has given 2,000 pages for kind of each and every subject. Faculty has already given you around 700 to 800 pages. It's a compressed version. Don't try to cut short that 700 pages into 100-page summary. If 100 page you are reading and you're going, that is not going to work. 700 pages, whatever is given by faculty, we can mark out the things, what needs to be revised. So half of the things are kind of marked out, and that has to be revised more and more so that you're able to remember it. Achha, just one thing. Anybody has any questions to Kunal, they can ask it. I'm there over here. I have this YouTube chat box open with me. So any questions of yours are there, please ping it without hesitation. Okay, Kunal, just one most important thing according to you, which a student has to follow to ensure he cracks both the groups together. Just one thing, according to you, the most important.
Dedication, sir. You have to be consistent. Your consistency and perseverance is definitely going to help. You make a timetable, you stick by it. You cannot afford like taking 1 day break in 2 weeks. Okay, today I'm not in the mood to study. Okay, if it happens, it should be exceptional cases, but you should have a strict schedule. Like you know what you worked on for the last 4 years for, and this exam requires you to put that commitment. It's not the toughest of exams, but it requires your consistency. So be consistent, put your efforts for 5-6 months. You have to trust the process, I believe, and your hard work will definitely pay off.
Okay, trust the process. So be disciplined. 5-6 months you have to study thoroughly. Trust your process. Whatever efforts you're putting in, definitely that will pay you off. But make sure you are dedicated. You don't give up in between. That's the most important thing. Okay. Anything else which you would like to share, Kunal? I'm just waiting if any other questions come up. I think from my side, the questions are there. I'm very happy, actually. I don't know how to express that feeling.
From my end, just a couple of mistakes, as I also already mentioned. Don't take mock tests leniently. Do write them and study everything thoroughly. Like don't try to skip anything in any subject, be it FR, be it law. And just put your efforts daily. So there might be sometimes where you feel extremely low. Talk to your peers, seek motivation from others. Never feel that मेरे से नहीं होगा, like I cannot do it, you can definitely do it. If your friend or someone who has already cleared, why do you think that you are lesser than that person? Always have faith on yourself, and when you feel low, talk to your peers, and always have a good set of friends, I believe. Your friends definitely help you a lot. So at times you may not be able to fully complete a part of it, so you need friends to tell you, okay, do this part, and to help you solve your doubts also. So if you're doing online classes, that may happen many times. Faculty may not be able to reach out to you, so that is when you need to have good set of friends who tell you to, who can help you also, and who motivate you also to become a better person and to guide you. These are small things which you should always keep in mind, and have a positive mindset basically. And you feel low, that is for everyone, that will come to everyone, but just stand up. Don't let it go. Just 5-6 months, and then things will be wonderful.
Okay. Achha, there's a question from Krishna. How to remember DT?
DT. So the faculty I had taken the coaching from had already prepared a compact summary book. So the DT is a very, very vast subject. So most of the faculties, I believe, themselves give a compact module, which is again, I believe, some 800 pages. Everyone has their own way of studying, so just stick by it. There's no one particular way of studying. You should understand basically what is meant by the entire concept, the chapter which you're studying. Put in your efforts. You should not try to mug everything. You should get the idea. And over time, I enjoyed studying DT because I could connect with it. I loved understanding what the concept was. So put in your effort. No subject is easy or tough, and there's no particular method, I feel, by which you can study easily. Like audit, if I do this, I'll be able to study easily. I don't think so. There is something like that. And same for TT, you have to put in your effort, what is required. Try to get a summary book or something, because the actual module is extremely big. So most of the faculties themselves give that. And whatever is there, study that, and definitely have writing practice. Try solving the case studies, because that is something which has newly come. The MCQs, integrated MCQs, they're extremely good and extremely tricky. And I suggest everyone as well, do have a look at those questions which are, so this has newly come. So people tend to ignore. They're like, I'll focus on the concepts and case scenarios and MCQs I'll be able to manage. But do have a look at those, because they're not as easy as you may expect. But don't get really scared also, because some are very tough. But just try to cover as far as possible, and never give up, basically.
Okay, so in simple words, lots and lots of efforts will be required. Try to take up a summary book, but which is not so much summary. He said summary book itself is like 700, 800 pages. So it's kind of a comprised or a detailed summary which is there, which covers up kind of the things in a proper way. And yes, don't forget to give importance to case studies as well as the integrated case-based MCQs. Usko bhul mat jana. Achha, there's a question from Anuj. Share some of your articleship memories which brings a smile on your face.
Articleship memories. I've had some very good memories. The first couple of months of tuitions. I think I know this Anuj who's texted. So he was a friend of mine. So we had extremely good memories. So we had some leisure time. So we used to play table tennis. Had good memories. Enjoyed a bit. So first 1 year we worked also, but in our leisure time we played table tennis. Coming to tuitions was extremely good. We used to study also, but going for breakfast after classes. So those are some memories. Even of IPCC, I thoroughly remember I used to go to Upardarshini next to our Yeshas Academy, and had a good time with friends. So those are some memories which will always be with me. Really grateful to all my friends.
Great.
Yeah.
Achha, there's a question from Chirag. Did you quote section numbers in law, DT?
Wherever I remembered, I had mentioned, but I don't think you should write something if you're not totally sure of. So eventually, I feel law mein to, if you start studying, you will definitely remember, like the most important ones. You will definitely remember, because if you study 3 times here and there, it is so interlinked that you will definitely know, okay, what is coming from where. So over to definitely remember, and if you know it, only then write it. Don't write anything wrong, is what I've heard from people and what I followed also. don't write. If you're not sure, don't write. Not much importance is given, is what I've heard from people, that you won't get extra marks for writing it, but you will lose marks for writing it wrong. So don't do that.
Okay, so if you're sure about section number, then only write it. But one thing is, if you're not writing section number, it's okay. Make sure you're writing the provisions properly. The provision has to be written in a proper way.
Definitely.
Acha, there's one more question. Do you basically recommend attending a live online batch or a recorded batch?
My recommendation would be live batches, because you will be more consistent and diligent in doing it. Since I did online for a few classes, I was kind of very lenient. I was like, sometimes I was, whenever I was sleepy, I used to just pause and take a break, this, that. So that way I wasn't the best. So I would recommend, if you're doing live, you will be sitting there and 3 hours you will properly give your time and you'll be done also. So at times it used to happen for me that a 3-hour tuition used to take me 4.5 hours, even though I'm watching at 1.2x speed or something. So that I personally feel live would be better off, but online is also good. Like some faculties, if you want to speeden up or slow down, you can take a call.
Okay. So live online is better if you want a consistency. To those people who are basically a bit lazy, they might delay their coaching because the recorded content is there. They might watch at their own convenience. So to have a discipline in yourself, yes, live online is better. And yes, Unacademy provides that live online. So this is the best platform where you're getting the best live coachings which are possible. Any other questions? Let me just check. If anybody wants to ask anything, just ping down. Okay, I think there aren't any questions left over here. But just one last question from my side. Did you do anything like what we say, some co-curricular activities or some sports or anything like that to keep yourself mentally or physically fit during that last 4-5 months?
Very honestly, I remember you had told many a times that you have to maintain your physical health. Definitely those last 5-6 months, especially the last 2 months, you have to take care of yourself, your body. So last 1.5 month, I totally skipped eating anything from outside. Last 1.5 month is the time where you have to give your very best. So I didn't eat anything from outside at all. And during the 4-5 months also, the first 1-2 months I was doing skipping and all, but because of the exam pressure as it built, I made a mistake. I didn't do that much of extracurricular stuff, but I was walking entire day and studying. So that is how I could maintain my health a bit. Like if you're just eating and sitting, you just put on weight, and that is not definitely recommended. So try to exercise is what I feel like, at least for half an hour a day. If you're sitting and studying, then at least half an hour a day or 1 hour a day. Go for a walk, go for jogging, listen to music, and just do something which keeps you physically fit, because that is required. The process of 6 months requires you to be committed towards your studies, but also you have to maintain your physical health, because if you fall ill for about 7-8 days, that might prove to be very costly towards the end. So always try to keep yourself fit.
Okay, so keep yourself physically fit, a bit of exercise, and yes, make sure you are keeping your diet properly. Outside food, you are reducing it to a greater extent, and at home also don't eat too heavy so that you don't feel sleepy.
Yeah.
Krishna has a question. Sir, Kunal, in theory papers, when you're writing law and audit, do we need to write the same language which is used by ICI, or we can write in a general way?
You don't have to exactly copy ICI, because ICI writes a bit, it might be too tough to copy it. But yes, you should have general idea. Like if you're writing the provision, you cannot write your own words. Sometimes it is required to be written in the way it is written in law. So follow the proper provision. You don't have to like by heart it and write it down. But even for Caro, it's in a similar fashion. You have to have the important key points which are to be mentioned. So always when you're studying, try to highlight those keywords which are to be written. Otherwise, you can other part you can frame in your own way, but the key points should be there. And write the entire provision. Don't just write like if it's a 164 section or 164 1A. Don't just write that provision. Just try to write entire provision, because marks are given accordingly.
Okay. The simple words, it's not necessary to write down the full answer as per ICI, but the key lines and the key words, whichever are there, that has to come in your answer. If you write too general, that is also not going to make it. But important lines, important words has to be covered in your answers. Okay, to sum up all the things, whatever we discussed, I can understand. One is you need to plan your coachings, you need to plan your preparations well in advance. Like Kunal had started his coaching after 1 year of articleship, probably, and he finished up all his coaching around 6 months before the examination. So plan your studies, plan your coaching very properly. Number two, be very professional in your articleship. He said he used to go at 10, he used to come out at 7. Very few days he had a late sitting. He had requested his managers to ensure that he is giving justice to both the things. So give justice to your articleship, give justice to your studies as well. Number three, one paper going off bad is fine. Like Kunal said, his paper of law, right? Yeah. Law didn't go to the expectation, but that paper is gone. We cannot change it. What is there in our hand is the remaining papers which we need to follow. Number four, you need to keep yourself fit. He ensured that last 2 months he has not eaten any outside food. He used to walk and basically study the things, so automatically used to keep himself fit. So a bit of physical exercise and having a balanced diet, that becomes must. The few things you follow it, and that is helping you to crack your CA final examination. Thank you so much, Kunal. It was a great having you over here. Again, congratulations to you. And yes, heartiest basically regards to your family as well. Their support, your friends' support, everybody's support has been a very important thing for you. And this has made you achieve this great success. Just a
Thank you so much for having me here, sir.
Just a final one-liner from you for the students.
Just always keep yourself confident, never feel low, and trust the process, and have good people around you. Don't ever feel that I cannot do it. Have faith on yourself. Always, I have believed in praying. Have faith on the Almighty and keep yourself motivated. If never feel that you cannot do it. That is my most important saying to you all. Just be diligent and know what you're fighting for, and always imagine, like Sir has told, that the moment when you check your results after your exams, the smile which you'll expect from your parents, from your peers, your family, relatives, that moment is something which you cannot comprehend, and that is an unforgettable moment for me. And for me, that was the driving point. So you have to be self-driven, fight for that, and you will definitely crack it. Believe me, if I could do it coming from science, you can definitely do it. And I was extremely slow, and never feel that you are slower than anyone. Never compare. Have good people around you. Keep smiling, and you'll be able to do it.
Great. There's one sentence for you, or one word for you. Humblest AIR ever. That's the tagline for you, Kunal.
Thank you so much.
Okay, chalo. Thank you so much, Kunal. We'll meet soon in person. Bye-bye.
Yes,
All the best, and keep in touch.
Thank you for having me, sir.